Namaste everyone, welcome back to Let's Get Deep with Trideep. Today we are tackling a topic that hits hard, not just for the people it directly impacts, but for all of us, no matter where we live. We are talking about wildfires, climate change, and what it means for our planet and our future. Now, I've never been to California or the United States, but I don't need to be there to feel the heartbreak of what's happening.
These are the shocking scenes as wildfires rage across the Los Angeles.
Devastating wildfires, 5 people have been killed.
Or at least 10 people have been killed in the devastating wildfires.
Watching the news, seeing entire communities displaced, homes reduced to ashes, and lives forever changed, it's impossible not to feel a sense of urgency. These fires aren't just a local tragedy, they are a global warning sign. And here's the thing, it's not just about California. This is happening all over the world. Australia, Greece, Canada, even closer to home in parts of Europe and Asia. Wildfires are becoming more frequent, more intense, and more destructive. And while it might feel like these events are far away, their roots and their solutions connect all of us. I remember reading about the concept of hydroclimate whiplash. It's this back and forth cycle of extreme wet seasons followed by intense droughts, creating the perfect storm for wildfires. And what's scary is that this isn't just a random occurrence. It's fueled by human-induced climate change. It's fueled by us. So today, I want to go deeper. I want us to explore why this is happening, how it's affecting the planet and people, and most importantly, what we can do about it. Because while the headlines can feel overwhelming, the truth is we are not powerless. In fact, every single one of us has a role to play in fighting this crisis. This isn't about pointing fingers or feeling guilty. It's about understanding, reflecting, and taking action. The planet is speaking to us through these wildfires, these floods, these droughts, and it's time we start listening. So grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's talk about the reality of climate change, the devastation it's causing, and the steps we can take to make things better. Not just for us, but the future generations. Let's get deep.
Let's explore, let's take a leap. Welcome to Let's Get Deep. Let's get deep with Trideep, where the mind and soul meet. From ancient roots to modern skies, let's uncover where the magic lies. Let's get deep.
Okay, let's start with the raw reality. California is burning. Wildfires have always existed, but what we are seeing now isn't normal. Over 130,000 people displaced, over 10 plus lives tragically lost, thousands of homes reduced to ashes, and ecosystems destroyed in ways that will take decades, if not centuries, to recover. These fires aren't random. They are part of a dangerous pattern, one that's being supercharged by human activities. Scientists are calling it hydroclimate whiplash. Let me break that down for you. Picture this. California has intense wet winters where heavy rains lead to lush vegetation growth. At first glance, this might seem like a good thing, more green spaces, right? But then comes the flip side. Summers and fall bring record-breaking heat waves and prolonged droughts. All that lush vegetation from the winter, it dries out, become fuel for fires. It's like nature is stacking kindling for the next spark. And what causes a spark? It could be anything: lightning, a downed power line, even human negligence. But what takes that spark? and turns it into a raging inferno is the perfect storm created by climate change. Hotter temperatures, drier conditions, and stronger winds all combine to make fires spread faster, burn hotter, and last longer. Think about this. Since the 1970s, the amount of land burnt by wildfires in California has increased by 172%. That's not just a coincidence. Scientists have shown that rising global temperatures caused by burning fossil fuels and raising greenhouse gases and directly linked to the severity of these fires. And it's not just the forests that are burning. Communities are being destroyed. Families are losing everything. Homes, businesses, and even loved ones. Wildlife is fleeing for survival, and some species may never recover. The air becomes toxic with smoke, affecting millions, even those far away from the flames. The emotional toll is devastating. Imagine waking up to an evacuation order, grabbing whatever you can carry, and leaving behind everything you have worked for. Your memories, your home, your sense of safety. For many Californians, this isn't a hypothetical scenario, it's their reality. But let's go deeper. This isn't just about California. What's happening there is a snapshot of a global crisis. Wildfires are increasing in frequency and intensity worldwide. In Greece, Canada, Australia, and the Amazon rainforest, it's a domino effect. The climate change is the force pushing those dominoes down. And here's the hard truth. Wildfires are no longer just natural disasters. They are climate disasters. They are signals that our planet's systems are breaking down under the strain of human activities. But here's the thing. It's not about blaming or shaming. This is about awareness. It's about understanding the deeper connection between our actions and the world around us. Because only when we truly understand the problem, we can start to find real solutions. So, let's pause and reflect. What do these wildfires mean to us? Not just for those directly impacted, but for all of us. What are they asking us to pay attention to? And what role can we play in turning these around? Okay, let's take a moment to zoom out and connect the dots. These wildfires are a glaring symptom of a much bigger issue, climate change. But here's the thing, climate change isn't just about rising temperatures or melting ice caps. It's about how those changes ripple into every aspect of our life, whether we realize it or not. Think about this. When we wake up to a smoky sky, it's not just unpleasant. It's a reminder that the air we breathe is changing. When crops fail due to heat waves and droughts, it's not just a farmer's problem. It's about the food on your table. And when floods devastate one part of the world while wildfires rage in another, it's not just a coincidence. It's our interconnected planet trying to find balance amidst the chaos we have created. Climate change isn't happening in some far-off abstract way. It's personal. It's here. It's now. And it touches all of us. So, how did we get here? The truth is much of it comes down to how we live. Over the past century, human activity, burning fossil fuel, deforestation, overusing natural resources has drastically altered the Earth's delicate systems. For example, every time we burn coal, oil, or gas to power our homes, car, or industries, we release carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. These gases act like a blanket, trapping heat and making the planet warmer. It might not sound like much at first, a degree or two here and there, but that tiny shift has massive consequences. Hotter temperatures mean drier forests, which are more prone to catching fire. They also mean more evaporation, leading to droughts. And when the rain does come, it often arrives in destructive bursts instead of gentle, non-nourishing showers. That's how you get extremes like California's hydroclimate whiplash, violent swings between wet and dry seasons, creating a perfect condition for wildfires. But the effects of climate change doesn't stop there. Rising temperatures also disrupt ecosystems, forcing animals to migrate or perish. They melt glaciers, raising sea levels and threatening coastal communities. They even affect our health, increasing the spread of diseases and making heat waves more deadly. And here's the kicker: the people who contribute the least to climate change are often the ones who suffer the most. Vulnerable communities, those without the resources to rebuild, relocate, or adapt, bear the brunt of this crisis. It's a stark reminder that climate change isn't just an environmental issue, it's a human issue. But where do we fit into all of these? It's easy to feel powerless when faced with something as massive as climate change. After all, we are just individuals, right? How much can we really do? Well, let's break that down. Every choice we make has an impact. Every time we drive instead of walking or biking, every time we buy something we don't need, every time we throw away food, we are making tiny contributions to a much bigger problem. But here's the good news. The reverse is also true. Every time we choose to reduce, reuse, and recycle, every time we support sustainable businesses, every time we speak up for the climate action, we are making positive impact. It's about mindfulness, being aware of how our actions connect to the world around us. Because when you think about it, we are all part of the same system. The air I breathe is connected with the air you breathe. The choice I make ripple out just like the choices you make. So let's ask ourselves, how can we shift from being part of the problem to the part of the solution? How can we take the crisis we are facing and turn it into an opportunity for change? Because here's the truth. Every big change starts small, and it starts with us. Now, let's talk about the solution. It's one thing to understand the problem, it's another to know how we can take action. Climate change, especially in the form of wildfires, might seem like a global issue, too large to tackle. But I promise you, every action counts. Small changes in our daily lives can create a ripple effect that leads to larger collective action. The question is, what role can we play in all of this? The good news is there are real tangible solutions. So let's break them down. Number one, transitioning to renewable energy. One of the most powerful ways we can reduce the risk of climate-induced wildfires and other disasters is by moving away from fossil fuels. Solar, wind, hydroelectric, and geothermal energy are all clean, renewable sources of power. They don't emit harmful greenhouse gases and they don't contribute to global warming. Imagine a world where homes and businesses are powered by the sun, where cities run on wind and transportation relies on clean energy. It's not a distant dream, it's happening now, and you can be part of it by advocating for renewable energy policies, supporting companies that prioritize sustainability, or even making a switch to solar at home. You can directly reduce the carbon footprint. Number two, conserving water. Water is one of our most precious resources, and in the changing climate, it's becoming even scarcer. In places like California, droughts are becoming longer and more intense. The best thing we can do is conserve water wherever possible. This includes simple actions like fixing leaks, using water efficient appliances, and taking shorter showers. It also means rethinking the way we use water in agriculture and industry, two of the largest consumers. By reducing our water usage, we help reduce the strain on ecosystems and prevent the kind of vegetation growth that turns into wildfire fuel when dry weather hits. Number 3. Support sustainable agriculture. You might not immediately think about agriculture when it comes to wildfires, but it plays a huge role in climate change. Industrial agriculture, with its reliance on chemicals, unsustainable land use, and monocultures, contributes to carbon emissions, soil degradation, and loss of biodiversity. Supporting local sustainable farming practices can reduce emissions, protect soil, and build resilience in rural communities vulnerable to fire risks. Eating plant-based foods and choosing locally grown organic produce is another simple yet powerful step we can take. Reducing meat consumption, especially beef, cuts down on methane emissions, a potent greenhouse gas. Number 4. Rethinking urban planning and building resilient cities. We also need to rethink how we design our cities and homes. In California, many wildfires are fueled by poorly planned developments in fire-prone areas. By building homes that are fire-resistant, creating defensible spaces around properties, and ensuring that urban areas are equipped with sustainable infrastructure, we can help prevent the destruction that wildfires bring. And it's not just about building smarter homes, it's about smarter cities. Green spaces, urban forests, and more permeable surfaces in cities can help reduce heat island effects and absorb excess water, mitigating the severity of floods and wildfires. Number 5. Advocacy and climate policy. At a societal level, we need to push for policies that directly addresses climate change. These includes supporting leaders who prioritize climate actions, voting for climate-conscious policies, and supporting organizations working on the front lines of climate science, conservation, and renewable energy. And here's the thing, you don't have to be a politician or scientist to make a difference. When we talk to our families and friends about climate change, when we share articles and studies on social media, when we sign petitions and write letters to our representatives, we are collectively pushing for change. Number 6. Personal mindful action. I know this all seems like a lot, but let's remember that every small change can make a difference. Choosing to drive less, supporting sustainable brands, reducing waste, and being more mindful about our consumption are all actions that over time can add up to a major impact. The key is to take one step today, one action, and once you have done that, take another. Every single one of us has a role to play, and when we all take responsibility, we create a wave of change. That's how we move from awareness to action, and it's how we fight climate change together. Now, let's bring it all together with something I'm truly passionate about: mindfulness. If you have been following Let's Get Deep, you know how deeply I believe the power of mindfulness. Not just a way to calm our minds, but as a tool for creating real, positive change in the world. And it's no different when it comes to climate change. Mindfulness is about being aware of the choices we make, the impact we have, and the interconnectedness of everything around us. It's about realizing that the air I breathe is the same air you breathe in. The energy I use comes from the same earth that provides for all of us. The food I consume affects not just me, but everyone around me. When we practice mindfulness, we cultivate a deep sense of awareness that can guide our actions. It means taking a moment before we take a decision, whether it's what we buy, where we go, and how much energy we consume, and asking ourselves, how does this impact the planet? Mindfulness also brings a sense of connection. It's not just about reducing our own carbon footprint, it's about seeing ourselves as a part of much larger living system. We are all in this together. When you take action for the planet, it's not just an individual task, it's a collective responsibility. Think about this every time you choose to reduce waste, support a local business, or plant a tree. You are not just helping the environment, you are reinforcing a sense of connectedness with all living things. You are cultivating a relationship with the earth, one that's based on respect and care. By being mindful in our day-to-day lives, we make conscious decisions that honor our planet. This, in turn, builds a collective energy of care that will create lasting change. And here's the beautiful thing about mindfulness. It's contagious. When you live with intention, others notice. When you choose sustainable products or speak out for climate change, you inspire others to do the same. Your actions create a ripple effect, a network of change that can lead to powerful moments. So let's take mindfulness beyond just our thoughts and bring it into our actions. Let's live as though we are connected to each other, to the earth, and to the future generations. Because when we do that, we don't just create a better world for ourselves, we create a better world for all. Now, I want to end this conversation on a note of hope. We talked about the seriousness of the situation and the consequences of climate change and the role we all play in causing and mitigating it. But I don't want to leave this episode feeling helpless, because the truth is we can make a difference, and we are making a difference in big ways and small. Sometimes it's easy to feel like the fight against climate change is too big for one person to tackle. But when you look closely, the power to create change isn't in some far-off leader or institution. It's in each of us, individually and collectively. It's in the choices we make every day. There are countless stories of communities around the world who are coming together not just to survive, but to thrive in the face of climate challenges. In California, where wildfires are a constant threat, people are planting fire-resistant plants around their homes, working together to create defensible spaces that can protect their neighborhoods. In places like Australia, locals have developed fireproof homes, and renewable energy initiatives are powering entire towns, showing us that even the most vulnerable places can adapt and rebuild. We have seen how the youth movements led by the likes of Greta Thunberg and others have sparked a global dialogue. These young people, our future, are standing up and demanding action. Their energy, passion, and resilience should inspire all of us to take part in this movement of change. They remind us that we have the power to influence policy, to shift markets, to change hearts and minds. Look closer to home. Maybe it's a local initiative you can support. Perhaps it's planting trees in your community, setting up a recycling program at your school or workplace, or advocating for clean energy solutions in your neighborhood. Every action, no matter how small, it's a step in the right direction. Together, these small acts become a collective force, one that can reshape industries, transform economies, and shift the trajectory of our planet's future. There's also a huge opportunity for innovation. We live in an age where technology can be a powerful ally in the fight against climate change. From AI and machine learning, optimizing energy use, to new breakthroughs in sustainable agriculture, clean transportation, and zero waste products. We have the tools to solve problems that just a few decades ago seemed impossible. And let's not forget the most powerful tool we have: hope. Hope isn't just some abstract feeling, it's a call of action. It's a spark that drives us to do better, to be better, and build the world as healthier for all living beings. When we hold on to hope, we refuse to accept the status quo. We envision a brighter future and we roll up our sleeves to make that vision a reality. So yes, the crisis is real. Yes, the challenges ahead are immense, but hope is stronger than fear. And together, we can create solutions that will safeguard the future of our planet and the generations to come. So finally, as we wrap up today's conversation, I want you to live with this. Every small act matters, whether it's reducing a carbon footprint, supporting sustainable businesses, voting for climate-conscious leaders, or simply having conversations about climate change. Every effort contributes to a greater collective action. This is not a one-person job. This is a we job. It's about all of us coming together, transcending borders, differences, and divisions to work towards a common goal: a healthy, thriving planet for generations to come. Each of us has the power to make choices that will have a lasting impact, no matter how big or small. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight, but with every action you take, you are a part of something much bigger than yourself. Together, we can turn the tide, create a sustainable future, and ensure that the earth remains beautiful, thriving home for all life. So, here's my challenge to you. Right after this episode, take one action. Whether it's turning off a light, walking instead of driving, buying a reusable bottle, or sharing what you have learned with a friend. One step, one small step. And then do it again tomorrow and the day after that. And together, those steps will lead to a world of change. Thank you for listening to Let's Get Deep with Trideep. I hope today's conversation has inspired you to think about your own role in protecting our planet. The journey ahead is long, but it's a journey worth taking. Until next time, stay mindful, stay hopeful, and keep taking action for the planet we all share. Namaste.
This is Let's Get Deep with 3 Deep.